I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alonso, Devolver,
He's here.
Ford,
She was distracted.
Here.
Lancaster. Smith. Spielman. Taylor.
Present.
12 present, 0 absent.
Additions or changes to the agenda. The one thing I want to point out here is
will be adjourned for an executive session as indicated on the agenda after the public comment, at which time I'm afraid to say that I'm going to have to ask everyone who's here in public to leave. This is after public comment, however, not before that. So then you can come back afterwards if you're so inclined.
you don't have to leave forever.
Are there any other additions or changes to the agenda? Seeing none. You have in your packets the minutes of the April council meeting. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor of approving the April meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. You also have the minutes of the April work session in your packet. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion of those minutes? Seeing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And finally, you have the March financial report. Is there a motion to approve that?
Second.
Is there any discussion of the March financial report? Seeing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we come to the time set aside for public comment. We have ground rules. If you wish to address the council, please make sure you have signed the list over here because we need to have a record of the name and address of everyone who addresses us. Also, when you come to the podium, please state your name and address and limit yourself to 3 minutes speaking. All right, is there someone who wants to come forth first to address it? I assume with all these people, there are people who want to talk to us.
Hello. I assume that a lot of us are gathered here due to the Pride Festival. My name is Alma. My address is 433 Philadelphia Street, and I'm here speaking on behalf of Ott House and the LGBTQ community that resides not only in Indiana, but in Indiana County. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 24. And LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely than their peers to attempt suicide. Per the U.S. Borough of Justice 2017 to 2020, the rate of violent victimization for LGBTQ individuals was more than 2 times the rate reported for straight individuals. How do we combat this? Because we don't want our children to suffer or to die. I have faith that none of us gathered here want to see another human being suffer or die. So again, I ask you to consider, as we all speak here tonight, how do we combat this? And the simple answer is visibility. Visibility is essential to creating a more accepting, inclusive, and equitable society. With visibility, we can combat the harmful effects of relegating living, breathing, beautiful, vibrant members of our community to the shadows. And drag is visibility. Drag performers are a beacon of pride, shining a light on members of our human family who are all too often left to fend for themselves in the dark, out of sight and out of mind, barely tolerable. And ultimately, they are left vulnerable to the manifestation of mental health issues and vulnerable to violent assault. So I stand before you now as a human being, as a woman, to tell you, I do not have ovaries or a uterus. At the age of 29, my uterus and ovaries were wrongfully taken from me. I still identify as a woman, and all of my friends who identify as a woman are welcome to join me. Getting back to the issue, drag is performance art, though. It utilizes exaggerated gender expression, and it is not inherently dangerous, simply because of the way the performers choose to express themselves. What is dangerous for all of us is failing to see, is failing to let minorities be visible and be included and treated equally and granted equitable rights. Drag is not here to scare your children. I am not here to scare your children. I have children of my own. We are here to bring art and inclusivity and love and kindness to the community. And I humbly ask everybody to search their hearts and allow us to do so. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Paige Shaner. I come from Ernest. Same phone number?
No.
I am also on Ernest Borough Council. So I come here as a member of the outhouse as well, and a mother and a local citizen. I've talked to people about the reasons that they have for not wanting the drag show to come here. And the thing that they constantly come back with is that they don't feel like this is something that children should be seeing. Obviously, there are things that are meant for children and things that are meant for adults. And there are family-friendly drag shows. I want to ask what we really mean whenever we say that we don't think that this is for children, because ultimately, I don't think that anybody who really thought about this thinks that they're protecting children by stopping them from what is ultimately a very snazzy lip sync battle. What we're really talking about is not wanting them to see people that are expressing themselves in a way that you are not accustomed to and in ways that are not normal for you. We're going to put that in quotes because everyone's normal is different. But I really don't understand it. We're ultimately just avoiding people who are different being shown to our children. And the reason that we are doing that is because of fear and an ignorance and a lack of understanding, which is interesting given the vast and overwhelming support for America's first group of men who wore wigs, heels, and makeup, our founding fathers. But regardless, my children have given me the unique experience of being able to meet a lot of diverse children because they themselves are very kind, loving, accepting individuals. I have had the privilege of meeting kids who come from very complicated homes where their parents are wildly unsupportive and almost bullying them, trying to get them to accept normalcy. I've had people make comments to my own children that they dressed like a boy because they were outside in a t-shirt and shorts playing with their friends in the dirt. Comments made to my other child for wearing nail polish, things that people would never consider or focus in on if they weren't thinking about what genitals they thought that child had, things that would never matter to them if they weren't focusing on the wrong things. But regardless, I've gotten to meet some incredible children. One of them came to my house one day and came to my porch crying and said that they needed to move in with me because they were being bullied at home by their parents and were constantly dealing with issues with their own gender dysphoria and being told that they needed to dress a different way. They didn't want to go to foster care and had already attempted to kill themselves once and said that they were ultimately absolutely going to do it again if they were not in a place of acceptance where they felt like they were a person. And I would love to say that it's because I had bonded with that child and it's because that child had come to love me and we spent time together, but we didn't. When that kid introduced themselves to me, they said, "Hi, my name is blank." And I said, "Hello, nice to meet you." And that was it. Treating them with basic human decency was enough.
But we have to be fair here, so you've had your 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Kat. I live on Philadelphia Street. My phone number is 724-235-8028. I come before y'all today as a lifelong proud member of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Generations upon generations of my family have come from here and have contributed to the society that we all here today call home. And today I stand before you as your neighbor, as one of you and on your side. I do not bow down to divide and conquer tactics. This is all of our community. I grew up here, like I said, my entire life. And as always, I preach the truth that hatred comes from ignorance. Ignorance, as we all know, is the not knowing or not understanding of whatever is at hand. And to then get rid of that ignorance, to get rid of that not knowing, we provide visibility and thus create our existence just as normal as all of y'all's existence, and thus ending the hatred that is seen to us. So we're here today more so to almost introduce ourselves and to educate y'all and let you see who we are amongst the community. I grew up here till about, oh boy, I'm 31 years old now. In 2017, I moved to Cleveland, Ohio, and I moved there because I felt that I was in a neighborhood in which I could not be myself. I could not express myself. I didn't know myself, and in ways that I didn't realize until I had moved into a more active LGBT community, I hated myself. I had internalized homophobia. I was the type of person, like, I would never be friends with drag queens. I'm not that kind of gay, you know, just all of these things that I got told about myself. Why do you walk like that? Why do you talk like that? Why do you dress like that? All of those things I got told to shut up about and to stop being. I wanted to kill myself. I tried multiple times and I moved away and I found this community. I found drag. And when I walk on that stage, all done up as myself, fully who I am, those things I get told to shut up about and why are you this, why are you that? Those things get applauded. I get pure nothing other than love. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. It saved my life in shorter terms. And what I wanted to do in Cleveland after living there for almost 5 years, I thought a lot about Indiana, PA, where I called home, that I called multiple times my nest. You know, I wanted to give that gift of love and acceptance and visibility to get rid of that hatred. To this day, I cannot walk up and down Philly Street without someone yelling out their window, faggot, queer, this, that, you know, and I know those words are shocking to hear. We hear them every day. And to get rid of that hatred, to get rid of that ignorance, we want to provide, is metaphorically and physically, a stage for us to be on, just as well as anyone else to be on. The Appalachian Folk Festival happens every year. We're asking for a side street. We're asking for non-alcoholic permission to be there. Everything will be family friendly. Just like, is that, my 3 minutes are up?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys so much.
All so much.
Yes, thank you.
Would like to address the council.
Hello, my name is Casey Neese. I live at 180 Robin Street in Indiana. I'd like to address the council this evening out of a concern for public safety. My concern comes from what I've seen in the news. When events like this include a drag show, unfortunately, there are protests, and oftentimes those protests get out of hand. And that's why I have a public safety concern. I don't want to see this in our community. Now, I do not live in the borough. I live in Indiana, but I believe this is something that affects not only the borough. This event is a community event. It affects the entire county and the wider community, which is why I wanted to speak with you about it tonight. So I thank you for your time and for hearing my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Teresa Arnett. I live at 5024 Route 286 Highway West. I've been a very happy member of the Indiana community for over 30 years. as a member of Art House. I am not here as a gay person. I'm here as a community member who would be so happy to be able to spread the word to other communities, to my friends, to other states, that this little community opened its heart, opened its head, and said, we can do this. I understand a fear of public uprising, but is the way to address it by not having the event? I don't understand that way of thinking. That seems to me to be something that would just propagate that outlook for years to come. Please allow people to have fun, have a parade. I've been to the drag shows. It was amazing. The performances were amazing, and it was beautifully done. I was so happy that that was part of my holiday, to be able to go to see that in this community. Open up. And please don't let fear of what might happen stop something wonderful from happening. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charles Corrado. I am an IUP student. I am a current senior who is graduating on Saturday. I have lived in this community for 4 years as a student. I have lived here pre-COVID, post-COVID, and I would not be standing before you today and speaking if I did not have a supportive family and if I did not have a supportive community. I have not attempted suicide, but I have thought about it dozens of times. Again, the only reason I'm here is because my parents love me. They accept me for who I am. They wouldn't care less if they saw me with a man. I implore you to approve the application for the Pride Festival, because I myself, like I said, I would not be here. I have attended numerous Pride events and there has never been violence. There has been protesters, but there has never been violence. I have attended Philadelphia Pride. I've attended Doylestown Pride from where I'm from. And I guess I should specify, I didn't say, I'm currently living at 657 Pratt Drive while in Indiana. But yeah, I don't understand the concern about uprising. I don't understand the concern about violence, because the events will not incite violence. Violence is incited by those who do not wish to see us live and who do not wish to see us be ourselves. Thank you.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I saw you moving, but I thought it was as a reporter.
I'm taking off my reporter's hat, but I'm saying that I hope that I have the permission to speak on my topic because I work for Renda Media here in the borough. Mine is a trivial matter, and yes, pun fully intended. I have a trivia night coming up to benefit the Teddy Bear Fund Drive, which supports child health care at IRMC and Children's Hospital's Free Care Fund, with majority of the money staying here in Indiana County. You may have seen the advertisement, the little flyer I sent over to your borough manager in the building. So I just wanted to invite everybody on the board and everybody in the community to come out. It's May 12th at the Eagles Lodge. Doors open at 6, game starts at 7, and it's $15 a player in advance. If you register in advance, if you wait to the day of, we charge you $20 a player, but it's all for a great cause, and we've got some good prizes that we're giving away as well. But I wanted to just kind of get that out there because I've been talking about it with every other community in our area. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, there is.
William Rush, 330 Chestnut Street. And I just want to thank all you members. I've said this in the past, but your service to the community, just really appreciate it. And I do want to discuss the event that is pending. And I don't fully expect to change anybody's opinion. You might already have it. But what I do want to do is outreach to the outhouse community. And as a follower of Jesus Christ, just tell you that I genuinely love you. And I want to actually invite all of you at any point. My company's called Rush Logistics. I'm on 1163 Water Street. And I just want to invite you to a meal any day where I'll serve you a meal, treat you to a meal anywhere you want. We'll get pizza or whatever it is, but just to sit down and have a conversation. I too have genuinely struggled with mental illness. If you're ever interested, you can search on YouTube. It's just called Jesus Heals Mental Illness. And I too was past the point of suicidal and struggled in a lot of those areas, but just want to genuinely reach out to you guys and express the concept of just sitting down with you and hearing from you and just to tell you I love you. So there's a bigger picture here. This isn't just about an event. I think this is about a community that can heal and that can hear one another. So again, for any of the members of the Outhouse, my name is Will Rush. You can search my story on YouTube, Jesus Heals Mental Illness. But again, I want to invite you. I'm serious. Anytime I'll sit down with you for a meal.
We love you too.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Andrew Dean. I live at 50 Wayland Way, New Florence, PA. I wanted to come up here and give not necessarily a invitation to sway your minds in any way, but outreach as how this community has impacted me. I grew up in the foster care system myself. My mother passed away when I was 14 years old, and I was very quickly, as I say, adopted by my new mom, as I say. I myself am a transgender individual. I am non-binary. And I will say that I genuinely would not be here if it was not for this community of people. They have saved my life in more ways than I can ever express to them. And knowing that there are people in my community, I've lived here my entire life, essentially, that are so willing to be open and kind to everyone, no matter how anyone ever presents. They are always there with welcoming arms, no matter your religion, race, identity, nothing. They are always there for you and will do everything that they can for you in order to make sure that you are safe, happy, and loved. And I can genuinely say that everyone in this room, whether you agree with us or not, will always have open arms with us to be safe, happy, and loved.
Hello, my name is Callie Bland. I live at 125 Ruth Drive in Home, PA, and I'm coming as a representative from the from IUP. I'm the LGBTQIA student government senator. I'm also the president of Anthropology Club, and I hosted and organized the first IU Pride Festival in the Oak Grove this past weekend, and we had a family-friendly drag show in the middle of campus. And there was absolutely no pushback. It was a beautiful day. People came and it was full of love, and that's all that it was. And I don't expect anything different from this event. The whole reason why we planned an event before Pride Month is because a lot of students here don't get to go, and this would have been their only chance. But now for the students that live in Indiana and can't go to Pittsburgh or can't go to Philadelphia, they don't get that chance unless we give it to them. And we're all adults here. We know how to organize ourselves and we know how to censor ourselves in certain ways. Drag shows are like movie ratings. There are certain ones for kids and there's certain ones for not. But the whole point is, this is an event for everybody, not just for people of our community and not just for people in Indiana even. It's for anyone who needs a place to come and feel welcome. So thank you for your time.
None. Now comes the difficult part. I have to ask y'all to leave.
Different conversation. And they told 10 minutes, I don't want to tell you.
Like,
Reports, administration.
So our main report is, I'd like to appreciate my thanks to Nicole and her staff for giving us a clean report for our audit. So for our audit for December 31st, 2022, we got a nice clean report. That's my main news from admin.
That's pretty big report though.
In your packet.
The report is in your packet. Anybody else who wants to see the report, I have a copy here.
Fund. Yeah. Can you explain that? Sorry, or we could talk about it at Public Works, but that was the one thing that stood out to me.
Why don't we put it on Public Works?
Yeah,
and I
it
won't
was red.
say-
And going the wrong way. So I was asking.
Recycling fund.
Recycling fund, yeah, okay.
Yes. We need to raise our rates. Yeah, we need to raise our rates.
Basically, we're gonna have to raise rates.
I thought it was, but I was just,
All right,
I don't know, Public Works. I know.
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
questions? Community development.
Community development, I guess the big takeaway is the public engagement portal on the website is now active for people to make a comment or suggestions where they think the comprehensive plan should go. And, you know, if they have any ideas for our community moving forward, that's a great place to just go on the Borough website. It's right on the homepage and great place to do that. The other big thing we talked about was the tree grades. Apparently there was an old grant back in 1991 that was going to be used for some community improvement for facades of buildings or something like that. So basically, it's like it's over $100,000 that we're going to try and now use for tree grades because it's just sitting there and it's been sitting there for a long time. So that might be interesting. Yeah. So
That's cool.
it's our money. We just have to apply to make sure we can switch it over to tree grades, right? So, yeah, other than that.
That would be a lot of.
Well, yeah, we'll get as many as
How
we
much
can.
are
I mean,
tree
they're
grades?
like $4,500 each. I think that if we were gonna buy a bunch, we could get the
Really?
price way down and maybe shop it out a little and, I don't think we pay that much.
The hot one was,
Success?
I would call it.
We'll talk about that in the report.
Still all of it, but are you gonna talk about my idea for tree grades? Well, I suggested seeing if any of the local students who may be in vocational training might be able to create the tree grades, have some sort of competition, I don't know. And then they could get their little, get their name, sure, it's a very normal size name, get their name placed, on it somehow, some way as a way to.
Art department.
High school vote tech too, yeah.
And vote test.
Who cares if, right?
So we'll send it to one, let's vote tech.
Yeah.
That's what we think we can pass.
Sure.
Although it's the end of the school year, so might have to be a September.
Okay, well, that's not a bad point.
Gives you time to put it off.
We met on Thursday, April 20th, had a pretty long meeting with a lot of discussion, a lot of people who's here right now. So I would say, talk to us at length about what they envision the Pride Fest to be. Before I get onto the vote of approving or disapproving the Pride Festival, I just want to mention about we're still in the process of getting the radio upgrade, but we have grant for it. And I'll be very pleased with sometime in the near future, so that we have all the information and I do out. Getting to what everybody's here for, we have a action item, see, I don't have the actual written update, but the Borough Council has made, not Borough Council, Public Safety has moved to approve, suggest that we approve the Indiana Pride Festival Saturday, June 10th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at IRMC Park. Because it was approved for nothing in public safety, it doesn't need a second.
Discussion. Seeing none. I'm saying aye. Give me a chance, for goodness sake. All opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Pete's gonna add on.
We'll give him time. He's on the agenda. Public Works.
Great. We have a far less exciting report. First thing we have is a award a paving contract, and so this came out of Public Works to accept the low bidder Quick State Inc. for our for $196,150 for our 2023 paving contract. We are asking that with a conditional with 2 additional changes upon a solicitor review, and I'm pretty sure that solicitor review has mostly happened, but maybe we'll keep it there as the motion. But good news, our bids came in significantly under, so that's great news, and so we're going to be able to add a few more streets that we had to lop off under budget. So that's the motion to approve the low bidder Quaker Sales and the amount $196,150 with the 2 additional change orders.
Any second?
Doesn't need a second.
Where's it?
I apologize if I missed this.
What section of road is that for again?
It's a long list. It's,
Okay, but
yeah,
I can say that was
sorry.
it's
It's all in the same area.
Second ward, between 6th and 7th, sort of south of Giant Eagle. Willow.
Willow's one of them.
We're gonna
There's
have
been a lot of the
Street.
streets haven't been paved
Yeah.
20 some years.
Second. We're adding Gompers though. We're adding Gompers, 10th and 11th. Yes, and Carpenter.
Is no longer a Giant Eagle in the borough of Indiana.
I'm one of those people that can't. Come along.
Sorry. Anyway,
All
that's my
right.
motion.
Is there any further discussion of this motion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Great, thanks. So that's the majority of our report. I do have a visual, and I'm hoping it gets on our communications bit at some point. Our wastewater treatment plant, as usual, does great. I do encourage people to read through the Public Works report. I always say outside of the police department, most of our tax dollar money is paid on our public works. So our wastewater treatment plant, we did have a meeting with White Township, our joint sewer meeting. We started to nail down some of the specifics on our 527 Act 527 plan, which will replace our whole sewer system. But since they are also under significant cap as well, we're gonna need to coordinate, so it's all the same watershed. Also, out of wastewater treatment, we've got these visuals. This is my favorite visual. So this is things not to flush. That is an albino ball python that was found in our wastewater treatment plant recently, and somehow managed to live. The logistics of the plant down there means most things were going to get ground up. This just happened. This happened to swim, and it was alive, and they found it. The other pictures are not nearly as fun, but I do. They are. What this is. Unfortunately, the game commission came and picked it up, and it's an invasive species, so it didn't make it. Yeah, that's what the game commission does.
Game commission did.
So don't flush snakes, but also for the press, this is sort of our yearly, please don't flush the flushable wipes. The other pictures in here are harder to see because they're far grosser, but this is a large sprocket with a chain around it that is completely coated in flushable wipes. Flushable wipes are not flushable. They get caught in our sewer system. It's not all your fault. It's likely institutions that are using them quite a bit, but each year we try to do a public thing. These flushable wipes that say flushable clearly on the thing are not flushable for our system. They do get caught. We try and do this every year. There's only so much we can do with the public in general. Don't feel too bad. It is likely more in institutional sort of use, so maybe a hospital or somewhere it's just sort of using them a lot. There's also a technical fix, so we don't need to rely on everybody to just learn that flushable doesn't mean flushable. There's a technical fix in our next iteration, which won't be for another 5 years or so, a wastewater treatment plant. There's a bigger grinder that just takes all the snakes and all the flushable wipes out of it. Upshot is, please don't flush your flushable wipes. Please don't flush your flushable wipes. Please don't flush your flushable wipes from our sewer department. Or your snakes or anything else. There's really limited things you can flush. I think that's all I had. Please do take a look. There's a lot of work happening. I got them a kind of long meeting, so I don't want to get into it too much. Our Parks Department is expanding. That's significant. We just hired a third person, so there's more work they're going to be able to do, including actually find a home. We're looking for a building for them. It's harder than it seems. But please do go through the Public Works report, and when you see the guys out there, there's a lot of work here in the spring. So keep an eye out for them.
Are there questions for the Public Works Committee? Does Shade Tree have a report?
Yes, Shade Tree met last week, April 24th on a Monday. Big thing was that pruning will begin soon, according to our arborist. He is going to help with removing trees in poor condition. And there will be, he brought it up because there will be people in the community being upset because they're going to remove they're going to remove 9 pear trees on Philadelphia Street. And I believe that's over near the 10th and 11th and 12th Street, somewhere down along that way. They're in poor condition. They're also involving the power lines above them, and so they're going to be removing the 9.
That's in front of your house, isn't it?
So when they remove them, are they gonna replant new ones?
As far as I know, they're gonna prioritize, they said, replanting the 9 trees. We're also looking at South 7th Street, the little corridor between Philadelphia and the post office, because we're working at RMC Park, and we need to do that in conjunction.
'Cause if those trees go down, then, you know, the whole shading calming effect thing, people zoom from
We
the
realize
west
it,
end.
but if we didn't take these down from what was said, because they're getting involved with the main power line, Penelec was gonna take them down, and they would not be.
Big circle on them.
Right. So it was discussed because it will get a lot of attention, and people will call Nicole and people here and complain to them. But there is a reason. They're not just gonna take them down.
But I want to know if there's going to be new trees planted to,
If it's gonna be, like you said, they're gonna prioritize it.
okay.
I think it's a really important question, because lots of times when we have gone to PennDOT and asked about speed limit changes, they're always telling us that we need traffic calming measures.
Exactly.
And like those trees, and so that's kind of the issue why that answer is.
Because I'm like, why are they threatening to cut it down instead of trimming it?
And I'm wondering if it's possible to get, I know it's always hard to find more cash for trees, we're doing a better job, but it would be particularly along those corridors where, you know, we're already concerned about the 11th Street light, missing that now that the trees are going down. That's, you know, that's from a big picture perspective, it's really irresponsible for us to just open up the corridor like that. And I'm wondering if there are public safety dollars that can be used to plant new trees there ASAP, right? Trees aren't that expensive. It costs maybe $1,000, $2,000 to put in one, surprisingly a lot.
The Bradford Lancaster Fund.
So I just think it's more, these trees are not, they're not just providing shades. They are what's been defined as a traffic calming measure. And so if we remove those, we should put something back in that will calm that traffic.
And you know, sorry.
And I just think of the funding issue. So I'm wondering if the public safety dollars. Pull from, because I know Shade Tree mentioned Shade Tree is doing all they can with the funds they have. And they do things they gotta do, and one of those things is cut those trees down. We need to make sure that speeds up traffic and we do something about it, which is plant more trees.
What you're talking about, not normally I realize, what about the liquid fuels? Isn't that for roads and things like that?
Usually ADA stuff, right?
But I thought they were gonna cut them down and replace them with a different type of tree.
Right.
Yeah.
Tree that did a lot of things that they weren't told it was going to do. That's one of the reasons they're taking so many of them out. Right, they're actually gonna be illegal to sell pretty soon, like 2 years. So they're,
What kind of trees?
Bradford.
They're not grow this high, it's canopy.
because they're not supposed to get as high as the power lines. That's why they were planted under.
Yeah,
power
yeah.
lines.
That part I knew.
But it's bull crap.
It's like, why can't they trim it until they know they can replace it with a tree? Because we know it's a problem. We're talking about Philadelphia Street. We're talking about the west end of Philadelphia Street. We're talking about people zooming through all the time. Chief Shaw, isn't that a high traffic area?
Perhaps we could just ask.
Philadelphia Street
West
on the
End.
west end, on that section specifically, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th Street.
Now.
I mean,
in
people
fall,
speed
there's
like
gonna be
maniacs
there's
there.
gonna be trees planted on Philadelphia Street, the 1,000 block this fall.
1,000 block,
Yeah.
so 10th Street
Around that area.
this fall.
They can only plant trees in spring or fall. Right now, the spring season was so warm, it's already late.
Oh, so if they can plant in the fall, that's fine. Cool, thank you.
Anything else for shade tree?
Did you mention the tree for Mayor Hood?
Ought to be mentioned.
Yeah, I wasn't there. There was a tree planted and dedicated, over at Calpres for Mayor Hood.
Yes, it's right in the corner of
He-
Church and Seventh
He
Street.
did know about the plans before he passed, but he passed the week, that week.
Is,
So he was very aware of that. In fact, I think Mayor Simmons was at that event.
I had a proclamation because it was Arbor Day and a nice tree was planted. And since we're on that subject, I have a request. If we could take a moment of silence in the passing of George Hood.
anticipated me when it comes to be my turn to talk.
Yeah.
Mayor Hood. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
About peanuts or cheese balls.
See, you need to tell me more about that.
They used to bring around peanuts.
Pull
and
out a
stuff.
nap.
Oh, she was starting to tell me
Put it in
about
front
that.
of everybody and pour, well, maybe we just focus fourth quarter.
What I wanted to report on is our Trajan Jones, our new zoning and planning official, had his first event on Friday. Unfortunately, the rain kind of held people off, but if he did post there is a link on our website if everybody has a chance to go on it, but it's Indiana 2030 Tomorrow Together. I think that's a great theme right now, considering everything that's happening tonight. So it fits right in. He brought IEP together with residents and talking about the future of the comp plan. We're revising the comp plan and the visions of what we want to see the borough look like, how we want to work with the IEP students and the residents to work together. So for his first event, it was a great showing. He had a lot of support from IEP. So I want to put it out there to Trajan. I know he's not here, but great job. And if anybody, get on the site, there's a link. We'll be talking about it more at community development, but it was a great start. I know Luke was there, if you have any comments, but that's pretty much all I have as my report.
Event for him, especially battling the rain. I mean, that complicated things.
Comprehensive plan for the future of the borough.
And so the website you mentioned, Indiana Together Tomorrow, is what you can go onto our website, and we are totally interested in what everybody has to say about how we go into the future. So everybody here in the audience and the press, please do go. It's hard. We don't always get feedback. Most of our meetings don't have this kind of turnout. And usually it's usually something in particular, and this is sort of our long term. How does Indiana see itself over the next 10 years? Which is
For 2030?
2030, yes.
But we thought that was a little
That's
too
how
far
we
ahead
do it.
for people, so we backed it up to 2030. Hopefully you guys can
Yeah, 'cause
wait
it
that
was
long.
changing.
Anyway, I appreciate Carolyn's efforts in getting as many folks as we can to the way in that, because I think Indiana is most definitely in a transition spot. Indiana County overall, particularly where Dr. Driscoll, big things are happening with the medical school here. The local economy taking a big hit with the power plant. We are at the transition we've all been thinking is going to happen here, so we need to help.
Are there other questions for the manager? Seeing none. Chief.
Thank you. I just want to draw council's attention to the fact there's no calls for service log in council minutes today. That's because April ended on Sunday and we couldn't prepare a log in time for today's meeting. So you should expect that at the mid-months council meeting with council packet. Other than that, I announced to council that we were excited at the police department and prepared to accept a canine donation to better serve our Indiana community. And I'm proud to report today that in furtherance of council's action to accept those grant funds, we now have a full-blooded AKC bloodhound who is 5 months into training as a lost, missing, or abducted person tracker. And he is as friendly as you could possibly imagine. His name is Scout, based largely on his tracking mission. He's also going to be cross-trained as a therapy dog. He's going to be in the schools. He's going to be in everywhere downtown with our officers. Officer Mike Clausen has been awarded / offered to be the canine handler. He's an excellent choice. Scout and Axel will work hand in hand together. The reason that I don't have a larger presentation is because I'm waiting to prepare something for our press partners and to have this rolled out at a later time. But I just wanted you to know that he is here and our press partners to know that they can expect something of a grounder scale. So if they could minimize the reporting tonight, we could do it much larger at some other time. May events, we have plenty of them in Indiana Borough. I'd like to just bring our public's attention to so that we can travel safe to and from town. We have a mental health fair that's going to be occurring this Thursday in IRMC Park. And that will start with a presentation at the courthouse. We'd ask for our motorists to go slow and our pedestrians to understand that there's an event in the area. That'll be from 2:30 to 6 o'clock. May 15th is Peace Officer Memorial Day. The week of May 14th to May 20th is National Police Week. It's a day and a time set aside in 1962 by then President Kennedy to honor and support the law enforcement officers who lost their lives for protecting and serving others. So the police department, its members are certainly going to be cognizant of those dates. And we just want to say that we're very appreciative of everyone in our community. Your support is invaluable to our efforts. And we will always try to live up to the community expectations for a professional, high character police department. I would just want to announce to council that at our May public safety meeting, I intend on watching the mayor provide an oath of office to our newest officer, Kennedy Allen. And I also intend to issue more than one department commendation if I can pull it together in time. So everyone's always welcome to that public safety meeting. Other than that, I just appreciate the constant support of Mayor Simmons and this council. And I look forward to all good things.
Are there questions for the chief? Mr. Solicitor.
I have really very little to report, Mr. President. The investigation that was authorized by this council is still underway. Hopefully we'll have information to report in the near future. But otherwise, we're working with the planning department and the borough manager regularly to move the matters that are currently pending forward.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions for the solicitor? And Jen, tell us about IUP. And did everyone get the email that had a report? Okay.
Share today. So one thing that's coming up here is our long range facilities master plan. We have a firm that we're working with where they'll be evaluating our space and the physical development of campus going forward. So right now it's just they've been interviewing a lot of faculty and staff and students, and then we'll be taking that to some additional steps involving members of the community, since the community is also part of our campus. So be on the lookout for more communications from me on that. On April 9th, the Haven Project hosted its annual Take Back the Night event. They got really great weather that night and they had a nice turnout. So that's all to raise awareness and support for survivors of sexual violence, domestic and dating violence, and stalking. We also honored Holocaust Remembrance Day. We had a guest speaker and Holocaust survivor on campus, and you can read a little bit more about her there. Last weekend, we had our celebration weekend. We had probably I would say, an influx of 1,000 or more people back to Indiana for 3 different events held throughout the weekend. We're all very successful honoring alumni, donors, and volunteers. Board of Governors just approved our new student trustee, Shagufta Haque. She's also a member of SGA. She was, I believe, former vice president, and she will be our new incoming student trustee. As one of 5 successful applicants, along with in the nation with Indiana Borough and the collaboration of faculty and students from the Department of Biology and Mathematical and Computer Sciences, they have a device that will be used at the wastewater, the water environment supplied by the Water Environment Federation. It's a simple point of use analysis that'll be used at the wastewater plant. So that's exciting there. On 26th of April, we held our annual Chalk the Walk. I don't know if anybody gets over to campus, but if you have the opportunity, that's always a really great day event, and you see a lot of students sharing their political views, their passions, and it's very inspiring. So get out and walk the town and check that out. This week is final weeks. On Thursday, we'll be hosting IEP Council of Trustees, followed by our faculty awards presentation, recent achievements and scholarship of them, University Senate Distinguished Faculty and Staff Awards, new faculty emeriti, and our current Distinguished University Professor. We will also have an honorary degree recipient this year, which we have not had one since 2015, so that's also exciting. Commencement will be on Friday, May 5th.
Event you're talking about?
Dinner. That follows the reception after trustees. So it's an invitational only dinner from 7:30 till about 10 p.m.
And it coincides on Thursday with that other one?
The reception is from 6:30 to 7:30 after the public meeting of trustees. Yep. And we'll also be honoring Poom and her husband at that trustees meeting because we will be, we have several naming resolutions, and one is actually in honor of Poom and her husband, Jim, for the naming of the tennis court. So that's exciting stuff. Congratulate and thank your wonderful council member.
I thought you said chocolate walk. I was like way too excited.
Chalk, not chocolate. Okay. The Department of Theater, Dance, and Performance is again going to be hosting its summer youth theater programs. So those of you in the community that have children or friends that have children, it's a really great program. So more information there. It runs from June 19th to July 15th. And then on June 23rd, for any alumni in this room, or if you know of any alumni, we are hosting an Indiana alumni event over at the Breezdale Alumni Center on the 23rd from 5 to 8 p.m. We'll have live music. Some of the local breweries will be there. Pig roast. Lots of fun getting our alumni together. We don't want to take our local alumni for granted, and we want to thank them for being part of the family. So if you can make it over, come and join us.
That's quite all right. I attended 4 meetings since we last met, that I think I should report on briefly. On April 20th, I attended the Southwest Regional Meeting of the Pennsylvania Municipal League. We met in Forest Hills, which my GPS insists is part of Pittsburgh for some reason. I was very interested in their new municipal building, since we're looking at working on ours. Their old building had gotten to the point where it was no longer feasible to fix it. So they built a new one from scratch. They were fortunate in that they had a large tract of land that they had been given by Westinghouse. They decided to build it as a net zero construction. It's interesting, which means that they produce more electricity than they use from their solar panels. They use geothermal wells to provide their HVAC. The interesting thing about those was their original plan had far fewer wells than they ended up putting in, because the initial wells they dug went through into a coal mine that didn't show up on the maps. Recycled or recyclable materials in construction. It's a smaller building than we need.
And Peter, how old was their old one?
Oh, it was in a very old building. I don't know. It had originally had some other purpose. I have not seen it. It's on Ardmore Boulevard in Forest Hills, if you want to go look for it.
Do you know,
It's a
do you know
great-
how much they paid for their new building?
How much is the new building?
I was given the expense. It wasn't as expensive as I thought it should be,
But it's smaller than we need.
but it's smaller than we need, quite a bit smaller than what we need. Just said, I don't remember. You could go to the PML website and look up the Southwest. Have that information there.
Time ago, that was like 6 years, I mean, it was years.
They lock in pre-COVID prices for building materials.
Yeah, I think they started, yeah, it was years ago.
Smaller police department than we do, which is in the building. They have a public library that occupies part of the building. It's not quite as big as the downstairs of our public library. But it still is a neat idea. I was, they had Westinghouse there to give them the land. Two meetings were similar in focus. The first was the ICATAC. I like to say that, Indiana County Active Transportation Advisory Committee, where I learned that May is National Bike Month. As part of that, here in Indiana, May 11th has been designated as Bike to School Day. People will gather at the KCAC and ride to Horace Mann and then on to the junior high. Parents can ride with the kids or anybody else wants to ride with them. I don't remember the details. There's a flyer that's going to be coming out soon. I've seen a draft of it, but
That is, you're biking to the elementaries because the junior
Right.
high and high school, they start so early. So it's usually,
Right.
they usually
That's what it
gather at like 8 or something.
no, it's going to
8:30.
be 7:30, I
Oh,
think
still
they're
7:30.
leaving. That same evening, there will be a safe cyclist, safe driver seminar at 6 p.m. at the Grace United Methodist Church led by Luann Zach. And you can get a free bumper sticker out of it if you go.
That was safe driver / safe
Safe
cyclist.
cyclist / safe driver.
Okay, so it is from both.
And finally, May 19th will be Bike Walk to Work Day. I don't have any more details of that. At the meeting, the same activities were discussed. We also learned that the Earn a Bike program is still ongoing, though the funding has stopped. Matt Reininger from the Twin Shop is now doing it. People who've been on the council for a while remember there was a former council member who got that started. And maps are up on the board in the 8th Street parking lot, show connection to the Poodlebug Trail and so forth, the other trails. I'm still waiting for the. This is. Finally, last night, Nicole and I both attended the Act 34 hearing held by the school board. I find out about plans for the Eisenhower School. Mostly what I got from it was that the project is going to be very expensive. They're still litigating the insurance settlement. And we won't see any changes. We won't see any changes for the next year or probably 2. The plans also show them using a portion of an unopened part of School Street for parking, which I assume we're going to have to approve. And that's all I have.
So you mean nothing's gonna happen there for 2 years?
Well, no, I mean, I said, we're not going to see it. They'll start working. But the bids haven't gone out yet. First, the bids have to go out.
For the point, it was kids occupying the building is probably
Right,
2
it's a
years
couple of
away.
years. Let's throw a couple of years.
At
away,
least.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It looked, I mean, the plans looked interesting, so forth.
I do have information. That's the original building at Forest Hills was built in 1922. And the value of their current building, which is 12,000 square foot, is 4.5 million.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was the constructor's website.
Isn't that our budget? $4 million? All right. Mr. Mayor,
Thank you. No report. I'm good. No.
is there any old business come before the council? Is there any new business?
Adjourn.
He's so good at that. But.
Meeting's adjourned.
Want to say this on behalf of Ott House and our family that gathered here with us. We want to thank you so much, and we would love it if you all would come out on June 10th and just have a good day with us.
All of you, every single one.
Everyone, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.